Dear students of B.R. Ambedkar University, Hyderabad, today let's talk about group discussion, interview skills, presentation and public speaking skills. First of all, let's look at group discussion and nuances. Group discussion is an important assessment method of learning among students or candidates for recruitment in academic, business and administrative spheres. Group discussion allows its participants to share their ideas and opinions with other participants. It is a systematic exchange of information, views and opinions about a topic, problem, issue or situation among the members of a group who share some common objectives. Group discussion is an important activity at college level where a student learns to train himself or herself to discuss and argue about the topic given. It helps them to express their views on serious subjects and informal situations. It improves their listening, speaking and thinking skills. Corporate companies use group discussions as crucial rounds of elimination while recruiting students during campus recruitment drives. They want to assess how competent the students are in expressing their views, which would help them in future for their companies. The purpose of a discussion is to help each group member explore and discover personal meanings of a text through interaction with other people. Types of GD. These types of GDs are very common during selection of candidates or during departmental level meetings, where in various issues are addressed to the members to deliberate upon and arrive at the pros and cons of the topic chosen. The participants discuss the good and bad aspects of the topic and propose solutions which are consensually generated. Case study based GD. These GDs are not a regular feature owing to a specific purpose of the case. The main issue or a challenge that the organization is facing in the case needs to be resolved or addressed. The participants in this type of GD discuss about the issues, the actors in the case, the alternative solutions, choosing one suitable solution and preparing action plans. Process of GD. Discussion is the process where by two or more people exchange information or ideas in a face-to-face situation to achieve a goal. Usually during the process of GD, there are three rounds conducted: general round, domain specific round and abstract round. Topics differ for each round. Time for preparation may or may not be given. In a real interview process where GDs are conducted, time for preparation may not be given. Directly a topic is given and you have to get down to discuss. Observations. Some of the qualities of the participants of GD which are visible to the observers are depth of subject knowledge, group behavior, leadership qualities, communication skills, use of appropriate verbal and non-verbal language, effective listening, level of confidence, clarity of expression. Group discussion skills. Every person can participate in the discussion, but in this formal situation like GD, one should be able to demonstrate skills. Remember the following: listening, reasoning, creativity, analysis and time management are the essential group discussion skills. What's your style? In a GD, usually students or business executives are seen exhibiting the following things. Some of you may be dominating in the group, some of you may be being submissive, and some of you can be like cat on the wall, some of you may be devil's advocates, some of you may be silent sufferers. So, you have to choose your style properly before participating in the group discussion. Now, let us look at do's and don'ts of group discussion. Do's: good body posture, active participation, being prepared, entering smoothly, waiting for your turn, adding or subtracting, praising or criticizing, taking one side, using your time judiciously. These are the do's of group discussion, and there are some don'ts also. Let us look at the don'ts. Do not stop others, do not use bad language, do not dominate others, do not keep quiet, do not shout, do not comment on other participants. Now, what if you get blank in GD? It is observed that many students get stuck in the process of group discussion because of many reasons. Maybe you are not prepared well, or the topic may not be similar to you, familiar to you. So, in that tough situation, what do? Any alternative? There is a suggestion for all the students. In such occasions, you can use SPELT approach. SPELT stands for social, economic, political, legal and technical. If any topic is unknown to you, or you do not have enough subject or stuff to speak in the GD, you can depend on this technique. Just analyze the topic in terms of SPELT, SPELT. These are the various parameters to evaluate group discussions. Usually the recruiters or faculty members will look at these things: understanding the topic, participation, attitude, initiative, Q&A, reasoning, language skills, analytical skills and body language. Then you have three types of grading: excellent, good and needs improvement. That is all about GD. Now, let us look at presentation skills. Some tips for you. Any presentation should start at a high note to grab the interest of the audience. So, your initial words or something, when you start, it should start with a very high note, captivating the audience. Then explain the things with amusing examples and anecdotes. Some incidents or something which happened in real life can be shared, and you can link it to the topic of your presentation. Then you should remember the KISS approach. It stands for keep it short and sweet. So, whenever you are going to present, based on the time given to you, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, you have to divide the entire topic and the content as per the time given to you. Otherwise, it can overshoot, disturbing the schedule of that program, or next speaker may be waiting there, or they may have some other thing to do. So, we have to stick to the time. That is very important for any presenter. Then use pictures, videos, tables and charts for sharing information. That will make your presentation very attractive, and the audience will be involved in pictures, videos, tables and charts, and it gives practical evidence also. One more thing is ask and raise questions during your presentation. Do not just go on talking about some topic. Here and there you should stop, give a pause and ask some questions. Wait for the answers, that will create a lot of interest. If they cannot answer, then you need to supply answers also. So, this is one technique during presentations. At the end, you have to summarize the information that you have already presented. So, a good presentation should start with an amusing talk or high tone. Then you have to give lot of examples, explain the stuff, then ask questions, raise questions, answer the questions. Then at the end summarize what you have already told. So, these are some of the tips for presentations. Then let us look at interview skills. This is another important skill to be achieved by the students. Interviews are very common nowadays because campus recruitment drives are happening, or students are applying for various jobs in companies or some institutions. Before going to the interviews, you should know something about these interviews. Interviews are useful methods of investigating information about a person's background, personality, interests, value systems, etc. Interviews help the recruiter to understand the attitude, views and feelings of the candidates. One can openly discuss the ideology, society and the world around. Decisions can be made effectively. As all of you know, before you go for the interview, your CVs are screened, and in the CVs they will check for your knowledge, your skills and your attitude. So, questions are also based on whatever information you have already furnished in the CV. So, before the real person goes into the interview room, your CV goes in front of them. So, they already know something about you. Based on that, they are formulating various questions. So, students are advised to go prepared. So, there can be knowledge based questions, there can be skill based questions, there can be attitude based questions also. So, three aspects should be kept in mind. Based on this discussion, decisions can be made that will help the recruiter to understand what are you and what is your background, what is your qualification, then how well you are suitable to the job they are going to offer to you. Now, what is an interview? It is a conversation between an employer and a potential employee. It is a necessary formality and process in organizations. It includes conversations, written tests and presentations too. Its purpose is to select a prospective employee for the organization. It is to understand each other before joining the company. Now, types of interviews: face to face interviews, telephonic interviews, panel interviews, sequential interviews, lunch or dinner interviews, competency based interviews. There are so many types of interviews. Actually, stress interviews are also there, which are not common. Some organizations conduct such type of interviews also. Face to face interviews are very familiar, common type of interviews, where you go with your CV, or you already submitted your CV well in advance. Then you go and face the interview, they ask some questions and you answer. Telephonic interviews are also possible, because maybe because of the distance or some other reason, some companies depend on telephonic interviews, where again similar kind of questions will be asked, but you will not be facing each other, it is only audio, and sometimes maybe video conferencing also they do. Then comes panel interviews. In this type of interviews, there is a panel of 3 to 6 people. There can be a subject expert, there can be a behavioral expert, there can be one financial expert. It depends on the job that you have applied for. And in civil services, really 3 to 6 members can be there. Some government officials, some private, some NGO persons can be there. But in corporate interviews, usually a marketing person, a finance expert, an HR expert and the CEO of the company. It all depends which type of job you are applying for. Then comes sequential interviews. There is a series of interviews during a day. Maybe 2-3 rounds of interviews will be conducted. That is called sequential interview. Then lunch and dinner interviews. In European countries, usually these things happen. They do not do formal interviews, they invite you for lunch or dinner. Casually you will be talking about many things. The interviewer also will be talking so many things, and it becomes very informal kind of thing, but they assess the person in that condition. So, some people open up very easily during lunch, dinner. So, many things can be understood by a person who is trying to recruit you. So, that type of interviews are also there. Then competency based interviews, it is skill based. Whatever job you have applied for, which type of skills are required for that, do you really have those type of skills with you. That is called competency based interview. Let us proceed to the expected questions and answers in an interview. Many questions will be asked, but let us take some examples. What are your weaknesses? Usually such type of questions are asked. Then your expected answer can be, I want to improve my communication by interacting with the customers, clients and colleagues to be more effective. You are not saying that is weakness, but you are saying I want to improve. So, the recruiter understands that you have ability to improve and you have positive attitude towards looking at your weaknesses. That is why such questions are asked. Then another question can be like, why should we hire you? Then you can answer, I have been working in the industry or academia for the past 12 years. My employers are happy with me. I got best employee award last year for working hard, being punctual and a team player. So, you can add up based on whatever you have done earlier. Then why do you want to work here? This question is also expected. Then your answer can be, I heard great things about your company policies, employee welfare and in-house trainings. I am inspired by your CEO who increased the share value of the company in 2 years. Then another question is expected, why did you leave the previous job or company? Then you can say, I survived the 2 rounds of downsizing in our company, but company wanted to decrease the staff by 25%. I was one of them. So, think of the reasons that you are giving. When were you most satisfied in your job? Then you can give the list of achievements that you have already achieved. So, I was satisfied because I did this, I was satisfied because I have achieved this, something like that. Then the next question can be, what can you do for us if employed here? Then you have to give some performance related facts, like within a week I can do like this, then within a month I can generate something, or within a month I can show the growth this much to the company. So, such performance related examples have to be given. What is your salary expectation? This is very important question at the end of the interview. Then you can say, I am comfortable with your company norms. If you are a beginner, just say you are comfortable with the company rules and regulations. If you are experienced, then you can say, as per my experience and previous pay, I expect a 20% hike in the salary. That is also expected. Then the interviewers will ask you any questions to us. It means their turn is over, now you can ask them questions, but you have to be very careful what you are asking, because you are exhibiting something by asking the question. Then you can say, for example, thanks for your time, may I know when can I hear my result? Or are there internal trainings at your company? What is the promotional chance? For after every 1 year or 2 years, are you going to give some promotions in your company? How about career advancement? So, you can ask such questions. Some do's and don'ts. Show respect to the interviewer, listen carefully and request to repeat the question if you are not clear, know the job requirements, understand the company well, thank the interviewer at the end, send a thanks note afterwards. And importantly, do not lie in the interview. What you do not have, do not try to project such things. Do not comment on the previous employer negatively. Do not divert your attention while answering the questions. Do not overdress. Do not use phone while interview is on. These things will give a negative impression on the candidate. Now, let us move on to public speaking. It is another important skill useful for anybody who wants to interact with people in large numbers. It is also called oratory skill. Types: ceremonial speaking, demonstrative speaking, informative speaking, persuasive speaking. So, these are the 4 types of public speaking. Ceremonial speaking is like maybe a seminar is going on or a big festival is going on. Such times a ceremonial type of speech will be there, narrating all the achievements, what the university has done or one organization has done, then felicitations, all those things. So, that is a different kind of speaking. Then demonstrative speaking, if there is a demonstration where people are gathered to see what is going to happen. So, different type of speaking will be there. Then informative speaking, maybe some concept or new product or something you are launching, then you have to give lot of information, educating people, that is another type of speaking. Then comes persuasive speaking. In marketing and selling situations, people do this persuasive kind of speaking. You are interacting with various customers, talking about your products and services. Then there are some important elements of public speaking. The following are the elements of public speaking. Number 1, speaker. Speaker is the person who seeks attention by connecting to the audience. How do you connect with the audience is a special skill again. Maybe you are using some incident, a joke, a story or something like that which is funny, then you are attracted towards the audience and they connect with the speaker. Then comes subject. Subject states the topic of your remarks which you are going to talk about for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever time given to you. So, you have to be thorough with the subject which is given to you, that will add value. Then comes message, the gist of the subject. In a snapshot, very short and brief, can you give the message about the topic that you are going to talk, because you may not have 1 hour time, maybe only 5 minutes is given to you, but can you still cover the essence of it, that is message. Then comes theme, broad topic with multiple areas. There is a vast topic like environment, for example. So, you are supposed to talk about environment. There are so many things concerned to environment. It can be air, it can be water, it can be earth, it can be mind, it can be anything. Pollution can happen anywhere. So, it is atmosphere. So, broad theme, but there are multiple areas. Then comes structure, composition of the speech from start to the end. That entire structure of your presentation, your topic of choice which you are going to address to the people should be in your mind. Okay. Sometimes there may not be a PowerPoint or there may not be a paper in front of you. Even then, if you are able to talk with the public or with the audience with confidence, covering all the aspects of the subject given to you, that is a very good skill which you have. Call to action, this is another element. Where shall we go from now? That is the address at the end. After giving lot of narration, lot of examples, if you come to the end, now it is call to action time. Where shall we go from now? Having discussed all these things, where can we go from now? It is the ultimate purpose of the conclusion of the speech. If you have a good conclusion, it is as effective as your beginning of the speech. Characters of the public speaker. The following are the important characteristics. First of all, public speaker should have confidence, then voice modulations, then you should have the approach like keep it short and simple, then connect with your audience, there storytelling, repetition, then creativity, ability to speak without memorization, natural way of speaking, that comes with experience of course, but if you have these qualities you can be very effective public speaker. Then some do's and don'ts. Know your audience, which type of audience you are going to address, that is very important. Are you in a rural area, urban area or semi-urban area, or you are in an academic institution, maybe corporate organization, maybe political body, it depends, because you are a public speaker. So, based on the audience you must change your way of presenting and speaking. Then comes planning your speech. How much time you are going to speak, with what you will start, where do you stop, then what examples you will take, that comes under your planning part. Then telling stories, that is a natural ability. People have to practice for many years. How to tell stories is not easy task. So, if you can include that technique in your public speaking situations, that helps. Start and finish on time, that is very important. Be yourself, you should be natural. If you try to imitate somebody, you may not be able to do that. So, be natural. Do not read your slides. Just reading slides or reading from the paper is not public speaking. You should be natural, like an expert. Then avoid overuse of animations. In presentations also people do lot of animation. Some noise is coming, some movements are there, that may distract the listener or the person who is looking at you. Even your hand movements, body language also can disturb in public speaking situation. Even the appearance also can disturb or deviate people. So, you have to maintain certain protocols. Then do not try to impress with jargon. Some people have the habit of using very high sounding words which people may not understand. The purpose of public speaking or presentation is to make people understand, not to confuse. So, if you use jargon, heavy vocabulary or technical words which people cannot understand, then your presentation or your public speaking may fail. So, remember these don'ts and do's to be successful as a presenter or public speaker. So, students, today we have discussed 4 important topics in this lesson. We started with group discussions and we talked about pros and cons and how to prepare for GD and what is expected, things like that. Then we also talked about interview skills, how you have to prepare for interviews and what are the various aspects to look at before going for interviews and what is expected from you, things like that. Then we talked about presentation skills, in which how to begin the presentation, how to catch the audience attention, then how to sum up, we have discussed. Then finally, we talked about public speaking. Presentation skills and public speaking looks very similar, but there are some variations. Presentations can happen in the classroom also, or in a business situation some sales executive or somebody may be presenting some concept or some product or service, that can also happen. But in public speaking situation, which can be in a presentation or in a real public speaking situation, like huge gathering of public in some ground, open ground or a stadium, thousands of people are there and you are speaking. That is a very specialized skill. There are training centers in India and America and so many other countries, where very big VIPs go and get trained, because that skill cannot be taught in academics. Little bit it can be taught, but lot of training, self practice is required to really become an expert, that too in public speaking and presentation skills. So, I hope these group discussions, interview skills, public speaking and presentation skills will be of some help to you. Kindly practice and all the best. Thank you.